22-year-old disappeared on bike in 1973, 50 years later. His remains were found in Canadian Park. Eric Singer, 22, of Cleveland, was last seen in 1973, according to his family. A hiker came across human remains in Ontario's Algonquin Park in 1980, but later attempts to identify the victim were unsuccessful. Due to advances in forensic technology, the remains were confirmed earlier this year as Singer's the Ontario Provincial Police, OPP, announced on Thursday, September 4, that the remains, which were first discovered in 1980 in Algonquin Park in Ontario, belonged to Eric "Ricky" Singer, authorities said in a news release. Singer was 22 years at the time of his disappearance in 1973. On September 19, 2023, I was contacted by an unidentified caller, Ruth Singer, one of Eric's sisters, said in the news release. Feeling strongly guided to take the call, the caller introduced himself as a detective from the OPP. He said he had some difficult news for me and asked whether I had time to listen. She added, "Immediately my tears began to fall and I knew that they had found him." According to the OPP, a hiker discovered the remains underneath the forest floor of the park after veering off a trail in April 1980. At the time, search teams eventually uncovered a boot, a leather wallet, clothing, a sleeping bag, and additional remains. Experts determined that the victim was a young white male somewhere between the ages of 18 and 21, and that his possible time of death was between July 1971 and spring 1978. They did not find any signs of foul play. Despite public appeals, the mystery surrounding the unidentified victim continued. Then on March 23, 1995, the OPP said, a jawbone was discovered near the same trail where the earlier human remains had been found. Authorities confirmed that both the jawbone and the remains belonged to the same person, but efforts to further identify the individual remained unsuccessful. In 2017, the OPP shared on social media a 3D clay reconstruction of what the victim's face might have looked like. 5 years later, authorities submitted the victim's DNA to the DNA Doe Project for IgG, Investigative Genetic Genealogy Analysis, which, according to police, combines traditional genealogy with new DNA-based comparisons. The remains were officially confirmed as Eric Singer's on February 14 of this year, the OPP said. October 3, 1973 was the last time I saw him. Ricky had been exploring Canadian options after dropping out of college in 1970 and receiving his draft card for Vietnam, Mary said of her brother in a press statement. He did not get drafted, but he continued to spend time in Canada over the next few years. Suddenly, he disappeared on his bike with a backpack and we never heard from him again. According to authorities, Singer returned home to Cleveland